Hello, hi, my name is Reverend Short Iwasaki from Heavenly Parents and Holy Community Church of Philadelphia and the Learning Center, 5546 Pulaski Avenue. That is within a Germantown. Um, Today I'd like to talk about the roots of sin. But if you want to talk about it, let me just gonna share with you what's going on right now in our society, in our immediate neighbors. 500 shooting deaths happened in Philadelphia. This is such an unprecedented criminal record ever in Philadelphia history due to the COVID-19 lockdown situation. Domestic violence, even worse than ever before. Talk about violence within a community. I mean, talk about literally here at the parking lot and just around the corner where two ladies just fighting over the parking spot and just killing each other. And one died, actually both died, killed, due to the just fighting over this parking spot. So this is really what's really happening. And why is that? What about our national level of a huge conflict? Recently, we're looking over at Washington, D.C., to riots happening in Philadelphia and elsewhere in the United States recently. And all these things are happening. Why? I mean, human trafficking and all these industries, including porn industries today, why exploitation of people, youth, teenagers, and women and men too, and boils down to the roots of sin. The sin, the blood running through our vein, the nature, especially COVID-19 kind of even fuel into this nature, the sinful nature that we're carrying every day. But it's so important for us to find out what is the roots, how to tackle it, how to deal with it, how can it able to be healed through this current situation. To talk about, let me just first of all talk about God's beautiful ideal. He had a dream. What he really wanted to achieve is a building ideal or creation ideal individuals and a family and society. We can see it from Genesis 1:28, God's original ideal model that God wanted to create. It says like this: be fruitful, multiply, subdue over creation. He wanted Adam and Eve to be fruitful. Well, take a look. A person, a man with mature integrity, reflecting God's personality and character. Who is really the best person that we can really look up to? Is it truly begotten Son of God, Jesus Christ himself? When you see Jesus, see a Father. Himself is spoken to scribes and disciples. When you see me, you see a Father. It is because when people talk to him, when listen to him, his personality and character is absolute reflection of God's nature. It is what God wants all of us to become, starting from Christ. But actually, what God really wants, that happened with Adam. Adam as the first man to be created, God was so happy that also God created a soulmate for Adam. That's Eve. Adam and Eve together, leaving from the parents, they were coming together as one flesh. This is God's original desire, that Adam and Eve was supposed to become. Jesus mentioned too when he was challenged by the Sadducees and scribes, why Moses allow man to get in divorce? Well, Jesus is not really from original, not from the beginning. So it is because, again, he repeated, when man and woman leaving from the parents and father and mother and become one flesh. One flesh means not just one body become, two body become one, but two minds become one mind. Two body become one body. And one become a total, one flesh climb together. However, man's heart is hardened. Because heart is really hard, that it causing all kinds of problems, leads to the dysfunctionality of family or marriage life, marriage relationship. The heart of the man, but it's true. So where this fallen nature or sin comes from, in spite of God's original ideal. So let's take a look talk about the story of Adam and Eve, story of fall. God placed the tree of life and tree of knowledge and good and evil in the middle of the garden. God told Adam and Eve, you cannot eat the fruits of the tree of knowledge and good and evil. If you eat of it, you shall die. Well, then serpent came. Serpent knows the God's commandment. Serpent told Adam and Eve, is it truly so if you eat the fruits of knowledge and good and evil, you will die? I don't think so. Actually, you gain the wisdom. Wisdom of knowledge and good and evil. And that is wonderful. And fruits is so attractive, so nice to eat. So Eve ate it, and she realized that she really wanted to pass it on to Adam. So she gave that fruit to Adam. Adam ate also as well. Suddenly, both of them first of all, they were naked. They were not shamed of. However, after they ate the fruits, they realized they were naked. They felt ashamed of their nakedness, and they covered their lower part with fig leaves. Well, question is this really a literal story or symbolic? I know traditionally it has been conventional teaching is that this was the actually literal story. Now, perhaps Adam and Eve ate the apple or what kind of fruits. There was debate over the theologians. However, if we really think of it, if God is a God as a parents over Adam and Eve, does the God as a parents have to test Adam and Eve really? And that result of a test is if they fail, they will die. What kind of test that is? Risking the children's life, test them so that if they pass is fine, but if they fail, they'll die. What kind of test the parents have to put them through? This is the fruits that they ate of it. That sin has passed it on to the generation after generations. What kind of fruits is that? Eating of the fruits it's not going to be passed on to generation. If you eat of it once, it stay right over, stay in the stomach, not to pass it on through the blood, through the DNA. I don't think so. What about what kind of fruits that is? That Eve and Adam have to risk their life, willing to die, even because they want to eat these fruits? What kind of fruits is it then? Well, Jesus also said once, he says, Matthew 15:11 says, not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which comes out of a mouth, this defileth a man. Not something eat of it is an immoral, destroy or harm people, but it is something comes out of your mouth will defile, or it hurts, destroy, harm people. So eating is not the sinful. Obviously, from these examples, we can see that it is actually not the literal story, but let's say it could be a great assumption that this story could be most likely symbolic. What do you think, pastors? I mean, let's think about it carefully. I know we've been hearing that this story is literal. However, I just wanted to let you know. I just want to question you. And you and I kind of have to think for a while carefully. It is really literal, or perhaps maybe it's symbolic? Well, if it is a symbolic story, then what it symbolizes in tree of life? What is it symbolizing tree of knowledge and good and evil? What is it symbolizing a serpent? What is symbol of the fruits that Eve ate it and Adam ate it? That's something that is so attractive that beyond they will risk their lives for it and pass it on to generation after generation. What kind of fruits that was? Let's talk about, first of all, tree of life. Tree of life has been mentioned twice in the Bible, especially 12 Proverbs 13:12. It says, hope defers makes the heart sick, but when the desire comes, it is a tree of life. It was a hope and desire of a people in the Old Testament before the Christ arrival. It was a hope. What about Revelation 22:14? It says, blessed are they that do his commandment, that they may have a right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gate into the city. Or another version explained that, blessed are they that do his commandment. Instead of commandment, wash their robes to the tree of life. They have a right to the tree of life, may enter through the gates into the city. Well, once again, people in Old Testament or in New Testament both are desired and hoped attaining the tree of life. That's, of course, going back all the way to the Adam. That was Adam's hope as well. What is it? What kind of tree the tree of life is? Well, John 15:4-5, Jesus himself said it, abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruits of itself, except abide in the divine or vine, no more can ye except ye abide in me. Jesus himself often spoken to the scribes and teachers and his own disciple, put himself an example as in a tree. I am a vine, you are the branches. You have to graft it into me in order to bear the fruits. Fruits. We talk about the fruits already. In order for you and I to bear the fruits, we need to abide into the tree, the vine. So, tree of life is what? It's the Jesus Christ. Who is the Jesus Christ? He was the perfect individual, begotten Son of God, who are truly inherit the God blood lineage, God's DNA, total reflection of God's personality and character. Tree of life is truly a fully mature man or Adam. Then question is, what about the tree of knowledge in good and evil? Perhaps, obviously, you and I maybe come to the possible conclusion, what is a tree of knowledge in good and evil? If we know that Adam representing the mature Adam or perfect Adam representing a tree of life, symbolic of a tree of knowledge in good and evil, most likely perfected Eve or fully mature Eve. What do you think, my friend, my pastor friends? Well, so fruits, that is, related to the Eve. So what is that fruits? Well, before talk about what is the fruits, what was the fruits, let us talk about who is a serpent. Who is the serpent? Well, obviously serpent knew the God's commandment. Serpent was able to speak, converse with Eve. And very wise, that able to twisting the message from God to attract to Eve to eat that fruits. What kind of serpent was it? Obviously, it's not just a snake. Let's talk about it. If you open up in the Bible, Revelation 12:9, it says that, and the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So, serpent was what? Great dragon was cast out from where? From heaven to the earth. And Satan called, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth. And his angels were cast out with him. Now, who is the serpent? Is a top of angel, leader of angels, archangel. Was it a Michael? Was it Gabriel? Was it Lucifer? The serpent symbolizing Lucifer was cast out from heaven. Well then, my question is, what was it? The sin was committed by Adam or Eve? Or sin was committed by the angel? Let's talk about what was the sin of an angel, which ultimately brought Adam and Eve into sin. What is it? If you read Jude 6:7, it says like this, and angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains, under darkness into the judgment of the great day. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah, and the cities about them, in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal life. Wow. The angels, like the people in the Sodom and Gomorrah, city about them, in a like manner, giving themselves over to fornication. The Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because of this overwhelming sin the people committed because of the fornication happening in Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by God. Strange flesh. Sin of an angel. The crime of angel or sin of angel was the illicit sexual relationship they committed. With whom? With whom? Let's take a look at Adam and Eve. What was their sin? It was not eating of fruits. Okay. Adam and Eve were both naked and they were not ashamed of it. Genesis 2:25 says they are not ashamed of their nakedness. But after the fall, Genesis 3:7 says, and the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed the fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. They somehow realized that their lower part, they're very much ashamed of their lower part. It is a man's nature to cover wherever they commit the crime. If they commit the crime by eating the fruits, obviously they should cover their mouth with the fig leaves. But Bible doesn't say that. Bible did not say it, but it says they cover their lower part. It means obviously they committed sin with their lower parts.